Okay, good evening, everyone. It is July 24, 2024, and it is 6:31 p.m. And I call the meeting of the Village of Homer Planning Board to order. The new business on tonight's agenda is the subdivision application of Carl and Marianne Fidel, 46 North Fulton Street in a B1 district. It's for a minor subdivision. And we have the application in front of us, and you're Mr. and Mrs. Fidel.
Yes.
Okay. If you would like to discuss what you're planning on doing, just a brief narrative.
Well, our intention is to take part of our property and build a small one-story house on it for us to age out in.
Okay. Is anybody, let's not just, county planning has reviewed this. We had they reviewed the application. And they see no difficulty and no reason for them to go into an in-depth review. Anything that happens within 500 feet of a state highway, county highway, village boundary has to go to county planning for review. So this got sent to them because you're within 500 feet of Clinton Street, state highway. So they're just returning it back to us for local determination. Does anybody have any of the board members have a question?
That great big house, still a lot to take care of.
Yes.
It's a very big house.
And you've had all them trees there too.
Yes,
That's why you're cutting the trees down, huh?
no, they died. And they were
Yeah. a lot of them
falling,
are
parts of
getting
them
bad.
were falling down, so some of them were getting on the wires.
Oh, no, yeah, I saw
That's
that.
why we haven't done anything with the stumps.
Yeah,
I believe Kevin McMahon has told you that if this subdivision is approved, you will still have to apply for a variance to build a residence on that property because you're in a B1 zone, which is a business zone. And in a B1 zone, residences are not permitted by right.
Even with so many
Yeah,
residences.
technically, your house is a non-conforming use in a business zone. And I don't know how that gets determined, except that when the zoning was put in, at some point, they decided that it was decided that, and I can show you briefly a small map I've got here, that your property, which is on the corner.
Yeah.
And all the way up to so
well,
up to as far as the Otten shots, or including the Otten shot property. So yours, the bowling alley, and the old Oddfellows and Otten shots is all a business district. So residences are usually not allowed in a residential district. So you would have to apply to the zoning board of appeals for a variance.
Is that part of Homer's?
Yeah,
governance?
yeah.
Okay.
So, and I can tell you what is allowed, in a B1, which is considered a neighborhood business, apartments that are accessory to a business. So that if there were an apartment at the bowling alleys, an apartment would be allowed there. But it's not allowed as a freestanding home. Retail stores, business or professional offices, banks, studios, barber shops, beauty parlors, restaurants, private schools, utilities like telephone, telegraph, and churches, schools, so forth.
It sounds like that zoning is from, it goes back along Prospect Street. Is that how the map is? Where,
Yeah, I can show, I don't have the big one here, but want me to get that one for you? Yeah, yeah, Dan's got a bigger one. And just, and I'm, it isn't all that important, except that I want you to understand where it comes from.
and why we have to go through the.
Yes, yes,
Repeal.
not just because we arbitrarily decided that we want to make life tough.
Would Ken DeMond have had to do this when he built those apartments on?
Ken DeMond's, I believe he had to do something similar because his his buildings are in an industrial district, which is an even higher restricted area.
Light blue.
Yeah, this right here, yeah, this is yours, bowling alley, Oddfellows,
And on shots.
and on shots. This industrial, I believe Des Moines had to go and get a variance to put
The
apartments in, or maybe just went ahead and did it, what
Turn
you're
on North Pole, and it's the first, there's a lot.
But it was a big improvement over what was there before, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's a big house and a barn.
So even though I own
Yeah,
2
And then if
acres
you
of
keep going,
land,
are you on grow?
I have
Then you run
subdivided
into
This is my
house
favorite
for
house
myself.
in the entire village.
Yeah. I know,
Yes,
but it's mean.
Can I move in there?
and even if you were in one of these other, like the R2 district,
I don't
You
know, I
cannot
love
have
that
two-
house since the day we moved.
I
in.
know.
principal residences on one building lot.
And 2 acres would be considered one.
It's one
And
lot,
owner?
it's one lot.
Okay,
But if you subdivided this into whatever, and technically you can subdivide into probably 2 or 3. If you will, I think you would.
So- We're so naive.
Well, that's
When we bought the house in 1984, my picture in my head was that it was enough property. I saw us building a house for her parents
Mhm.
and another house for my parents.
Right,
And then, when they were gone.
Yeah.
We would live in one of the smaller
sure,
houses.
sure.
But I didn't talk to anybody about that. That's just what my grandiose plan was. Neither of my parents or hers were interested in us doing.
They didn't want to live that close.
and
They,
50 years later, we're the ones that need this.
No, I understand. So that's the reason why the
Okay.
variance is required, but,
All right.
and I can't imagine that variance would be a problem. You'll meet the requirements for the subdivision, and you have a large enough lot to build on.
So then, after tonight, if we were gonna pursue this, did I give you the paperwork that I had filled out for the,
Yes, all that's there. All that's there.
so is that the next step then?
That's the next step. We'll get with Kevin and, making sure that it's ready to go, then if we, depending on what happens here tonight, it'll still have to go back to county planning for the zoning, because it's a different board. But getting it in before the end of the month, we should get it on county plannings, they meet the 3rd week of August, and we would have a ZBA meeting that last week of August.
That happens here.
Yes, that's already.
Okay. All right.
Now, is that something that we should attend?
Yes,
Definitely.
Yeah.
highly
Yeah,
recommend.
and anytime you've got something before one of the boards, it's good to attend, in case, and that was what happened last meeting. There was nobody here to answer the questions that were concerned, and some of the questions were, there was discrepancy between the size of the property. One said 2.12, 2.12, and the other said 1.8, or, there was some discussion, the board wasn't clear on what he wanted to do.
Okay.
And so that's why we delayed it. So as long as you understand that, you'll have to, if we approve through the subdivision tonight, then you'll have to apply for a variance, and then if you get the variance, then you go ahead and build. And once Mr. Casulo is our attorney, the village attorney, I'm gonna ask him a question. Subdivision is approved, variance is approved, then that a building permit could be issued at any time in the future. There's
Yeah,
no,
what will have to happen is if this, I would wait, you're gonna approve the subdivision tonight,
right,
and they'll go before the ZBA to get the variance. Then they should come back here with the map, because they're going to have the subdivision map signed by you.
right,
And they're gonna have to file it within 62 days with the county,
within 62 days from,
the date you sign it.
okay, all right.
And a map, meaning just where we want to place the house.
So the
No.
map showing the subdivision.
Just showing where the
There's two lots.
subdivision is, and that's, I think you pretty much,
It's got the,
I think you've done that already. You've got that, a survey map.
Yeah, Kevin had me pencil it in.
Oh, it's just penciled in, okay. It's gotta be staked out or drawn in by a surveyor with the distances.
Okay,
Uh,
A lot of that, they should talk with Kevin about.
yes, yeah,
You can talk with Kevin about that.
after the ZBA meeting.
I would talk with Kevin before the ZBA.
Okay.
This subdivision gets approved tonight, you should talk with Kevin prior to the zoning board of appeals meeting.
He's out of the office tomorrow and the next day, but he'll be back the following next week.
No problem.
yeah, because you, now is it, will they automatically, will Kevin automatically put the variance application in?
Well, what they'll have to do is if they made a variance application,
Yes, it's part of the package.
It's part of the package.
so if it's part of the package, has Kevin sent that into county planning yet?
No, because we're waiting
No.
on subdivision.
So if they haven't sent it in, then the variance application will have to go back over to county planning. And then county planning will either say they're gonna make a decision on it through the board, or they're gonna say that there's no technical issue, they'll send you a letter.
Okay.
you ready for motion?
So we have to,
We went there for the subdivision. Subdivision, it went to county planning for the planning board. The zoning board would be, has a different matter. So
Okay,
that's all.
all right, so it's already been once,
It's been once, so just go again.
so it comes back to the
Yep.
zoning board of appeals and then,
No, we'll go to county, we'll go to county and then the zoning board of appeals will meet that fourth week of August.
well, before that, you'll need the survey map.
Yeah, what they should do is Kevin will give them all the instructions that they need to do if they get the subdivision approved and get ready for the ZBA.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
I need a motion.
I'd so move to approve the subdivision.
We need to be lead agency for seeker, correct?
Yeah, if you wanna do, what did they fill out a secret form?
Yes,
Yes.
Oh, yes.
yes.
So they filled out part one, you need to do 2 and 3.
You have a copy of two?
Yeah, I didn't bring my copy. I'm sorry.
Good, how are you?
Yeah, you've got their part, but we don't have.
So they did the part one.
Yeah.
Right.
So they did the part one. What you will do, now you're gonna do part two, well, yeah, you do part two, part three is just where you declare negative declaration. So what you're gonna do, you already did the motion to declare yourself lead agencies for seeker purposes, for purposes of the project. Do you want to do that?
Mike made the motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Now, we just need to go over and do the part two of the impact statement. My lips dry wet so I can speak. The choices are no or a small impact, or a moderate to large impact.
Small.
Okay, the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation.
No.
No small, okay. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use of the, or the intensity of the use of the land?
No.
Smaller, okay. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No.
Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that caused the? There is no critical environment.
Oh, yeah, what they say, CRA?
Yeah. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing
No.
infrastructure? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in use of energy? Will the proposed action impact the existing public and private water supplies? No.
No,
Public, private wastewater treatment utilities?
no,
Will it impair the characteristics or quality of important historic, archaeological? Will it result in an adverse change to natural resources?
No.
It's okay, no. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No.
Will it create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
no.
At this point, I would ask for a negative declaration of environmental impact. Paula?
Yes.
Okay, Mike?
No environmental impact.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Okay, now we need a motion to approve the site plan that's submitted.
Motion, so moved.
Mike,
Second,
Paula? All in favor?
Aye.
Favor, okay. Um,
You all set?
we're all set with that.
Take care.
We,
You're all set.
And
Your
you're all
next,
set?
your next step, you know what's going on.
Okay,
you just, you get a hold of Kevin McMahon next Monday
okay.
and. and thanks for your patience.
That's to everything, isn't it?
Never easy.
Yeah,
Thank
my
you.
favorite house in the whole village.
it's a
Mine too.
I
gorgeous
love that
house.
house.
It's a great
Go
house.
by it all the time. There's my favorite house.
Yeah.
So when you live in the other house, maybe I can live in that house.
You have to fight my son for it.
Okay.
As big as it is, you guys do a nice job.
It's a big- it's a big piece of property,
Yeah, it is.
and I'm shocked that the wind and stuff the last 2 weeks
I
haven't
know.
had any problem, which,
Find a big piece of wood to knock on.
thank you very much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
Okay, we have 3 sets of
Thank you
minutes.
very much. And you- somebody here.
Had a chance to look them over.
I haven't had a chance to look them over, and I have some things I'd like to put in this minutes. So,
That's fine, make it clear for the,
Okay.
that'd be awesome.
that in the last meeting, where,
What's the date?
let me give the date.
May 29th.
Let me make sure that I have the right date for the record. This was March 13th.
March 13th.
This is the March 13th minutes.
Yes.
And I motioned for the approval of the site plan for family health on all of, there's like 6 contingencies. And one of them was that they were to be bringing us samples of that retaining wall, and they never did. And I want that to be known that I absolutely had nothing to do with that ugly wall. So
It's very ugly.
it's extremely ugly and I'm livid about it. And, you know, for people on this board to say, well, I wouldn't put it in my home, but it matches some, you know, something else in the area is unacceptable to me. So I just wanted to be known to the entire village, I had nothing to do with it. In fact, I asked for them to come back and that's how it was written in the notes and that's what the motions were and they were approved unanimously. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. It was left up to whoever, the construction guys are the ones who pick the wall, not us, so. There's that.
We'll put that in the minutes, but I just want to make, the caveat that both Kevin and I were given an email by the architect that came, I believe, 3:30, 3:31. Then that just got buried in my inbox. And so I believe I sent out emails, when we were going through this, a month or so back. I take full responsibility for not sharing that with the planning board. So that's on me, and I do apologize.
And I understand that, but that was one email. These were the contingencies of this, and this whole family health network were in front of us. They knew what the rules were. It's called a phone. It's called, you know what I mean? You just don't say, oh, they didn't email me back. I guess I'll just make a decision. So I think they own it, and I understand that you're taking the responsibility, but one email doesn't make a decision, and they should know better, so.
I do appreciate that.
Board wants to see the final redemptions of the retaining wall.
So, I don't know.
And I will go in.
So I'm good. Can go into the minutes, and when I see people in the village, I can hold my head up high.
Yeah, no, you know,
You know,
I understand.
okay,
Okay.
I'm done. My
Motion to
moment's
approve
over.
those minutes.
All those sets,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go with all of them now.
all those seconds.
Yes, I second.
With follows corrections, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I,
313 with notes.
yeah,
from
I would be reaching out to you just to
29.
get them in an email to me so I can give it to Maureen.
Yeah.
It's on the tape, she can hear it, but
it's okay. I
if you want
just,
if you want some specific language.
I mean, that's fine.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Carried, okay. If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, wow. My motion.